We've been riding through Vietnam for 3 weeks now, and what a ride it's been. Our journey began in the vibrant streets of Hanoi, took us through the breathtaking Ha Giang Loop, and continued south with stops at the awe-inspiring Phong Nha Caves, the charming town of Hoi An, the amazing historic city of Hue, the beaches of Nha Trang, and the misty mountains of Dalat, which you saw in our last episode. Now it's time to leave Dalat, often called the Paris of Vietnam, and ride towards our final destination, Ho Chi Minh. In this episode, we tackle the last stretch of our epic ride, completing our mission to travel the length of Vietnam from north to south by motorbike, from Hanoi to Ho Chi Minh. Join us for this final chapter as we soak in the energy of Ho Chi Minh and eventually fly back to Hanoi, where this incredible adventure comes full circle. After leaving Dalat, we had one more stop before reaching Ho Chi Minh City. It was the city of Phan Thiet. Now, it's kind of a resort town, so I didn't film much there. There wasn't too much going on, to be honest. But the road to Ho Chi Minh itself was actually breathtaking and really nice for our last step of this journey. And there you have it, the city of Ho Chi Minh. After 3,300 kilometers on the road, we finally made it. After driving for 4 hours non-stop, we finally made it to Ho Chi Minh City, or Saigon. It was a pretty cool ride, but also it was a little bit sad because this kind of marks the end of our journey. We arrived at our final destination, so all the way from Lung Cu, the very north of Vietnam, to Saigon, which is the south. I guess not the very south, but this is as south as we'll go on this trip. We're staying here for 4 nights, 5 days, to enjoy the city a little bit. We're staying in a really nice hotel because, I figured, why not? You should treat yourself to something good from time to time. And it's in District 3, which is kind of the city center, very close to the city center. And right now, we're gonna grab some food. That's our first stop. We grab some food at the restaurant where Angelina Jolie ate. Seems like it's reasonably priced and pretty close to where we live, so let's go and check it out. It was actually really nice. The prices were really fine. It was like 140,000 for pork or beef. You need to get the rice separately, which was a little bit expensive for rice, and the drinks were expensive too. So now I think we're gonna go back to the hotel, enjoy the swimming pool because it's ridiculously hot. Not ridiculously hot, but it's 31 degrees Celsius right now, so it's hot and a little bit humid. And then I think we'll go on another night walk in the city. Rồi dùng ngọc rất là được rồi. over to it. I thought it was a good idea to go to the Japanese corner with my wife because I didn't really know what it was. And I figured, just like looking at one or two pictures of it, and it had a good rating on Google Maps. Yeah, I just thought, you know, it's kind of like the Japanese area of Saigon, which seems super interesting. And it kind of is, but what I didn't know, it's also the red light district. So it was kind of crazy to see like hundreds probably of girls, probably prostitutes, just waiting outside. Yeah, I mean, that was an interesting experience, I guess, but kind of strange. And then we still ended up going to like a small Japanese restaurant. It wasn't too bad, but yeah, to be honest, it wasn't great either. So yeah, that's our night. It's about to be midnight, so we're heading back to the hotel. And yeah, it was a good day after all. And tomorrow, who knows? I think we may go to the market, or maybe go see the War Memorial Museum. Plenty of stuff to do in Ho Chi Minh. So we'll decide what we're doing tomorrow. So we're on our way to the Book Street. And as you can see behind me, they're already getting ready for Tet, which is the Lunar New Year. Will be happening in about, I think, 5 days. But we're not going to be here anymore for that. And to be honest, it's really not recommended that you travel during Tet because of how crazy stuff gets here. Like, all the hotels are booked, and yeah, it's just craziness. So happy to leave, I guess. I mean, it would have been interesting to see it, but yeah, I mean, probably would have been a nightmare to travel. So the Book Street is a pretty interesting place. It has a lot of tiny stores selling books, as you can see around me. And they're not really big. All of them are pretty small, and they have most of their books in Vietnamese. But also some have a few books in English, so it's an interesting place to stay. There's also a cafe where you could read some books and drink some coffee if you want to. So yeah, pretty interesting stop, and it's next to the post office, so that's probably going to be our next stop.
The central post office in Ho Chi Minh City was a cool and interesting place to visit. Beyond its stunning colonial architecture, we appreciated how easy it was to explore and shop there. Inside, you'll find a variety of souvenirs at reasonable prices, with no need to haggle since everything is clearly marked. One of the coolest things there is that you can pick up beautiful postcards and send them almost anywhere in the world for surprisingly cheap. It's a perfect stop for travelers who want a piece of Vietnam to take or send home. Our next stop was the Beignet street food court, which is kind of a street food court for tourists in my opinion. Now, there's nothing really wrong with that, like it seemed very clean and hygienic and all of that, and I feel like this is the reason that it exists, because tourists are probably afraid to go to the street vendors in Vietnam, but you really shouldn't be. Like, we had no issues whatsoever with the food there, and oftentimes it was probably better than this place. Nonetheless, we still got really tasty food here, and if you want to try a lot of different stuff, this is definitely a good stop.
We got ourselves some skewers, beef skewers, chicken skewers, bacon skewer, also a grape, and some peach juice and strawberry something juice. So let's see how this tastes.
Tastes good. It's good. Skewers are hard to miss. But yeah, these ones are, I would say, particularly tasty. I'm happy. I feel my choice. There's some nem, some pork, and a lot of noodles, rice noodles, and even a salad. So yeah, it looks good, and I'm sure this is enough. This looks like a meal for 2 people, and this cost me 200,000. Yeah, let's try this out. Okay, the second plate was good, but it was huge, so I didn't finish everything. I tried to, but I think it was intended for 2 people.
Our next stop was the War Remnants Museum, one of the most visited museums in Ho Chi Minh City. It focuses on the Vietnam War, known locally as the American War, and presents the conflict from the Vietnamese perspective. The exhibits include powerful photographs, decommissioned military vehicles, and detailed accounts of wartime atrocities, including the effects of Agent Orange. While some parts are emotionally heavy, the museum offers essential insight into the country's painful history and its path towards healing.
We just got done with our visit to the War Remnants Museum, and I have to say it's a very interesting place. It was probably the most interesting cultural place that we visited on this trip to Vietnam as of now, and I don't think anything will beat it. If you go there, I would say, and definitely go there if you can, if you're in Ho Chi Minh. I mean, if there's one thing that you have to visit as a cultural stop in Ho Chi Minh City, I would say go there. It's a very heavy museum. I mean, it documents the war, and it documents it very vividly with pictures and explanations. There's a pretty good historical explanation too of what happened from the moment the French decided to retake Vietnam after World War II until the very end of the Vietnam War, when Americans left, and even actually later with the effects of Agent Orange and all the issues it caused to this country. So yeah, very heavy, very interesting. Definitely plan enough time to stay there, because you need at least, I would say, 2 hours. We stayed for a little bit more than 2 hours, and we had to get out because they were closing, and we basically got chased out of there.
After the War Remnants Museum, we visited Bến Thành Market. It was a fun and lively place to explore, and we really liked it. It's big, packed with energy, and full of cool things to discover, from local snacks and spices to clothes, bags, and handmade souvenirs. Just keep in mind that prices aren't fixed, so haggling is part of the experience. And now it's time to explore the Independence Palace, which is one of the most iconic landmarks in Ho Chi Minh City. It served as the home and workplace of the President of South Vietnam during the Vietnam War, and was a major symbol of the US-backed regime. Architecturally, it's a striking 1960s modernist building, surrounded by gardens, bunkers, and even a rooftop helipad. Walking through the palace feels like stepping back in time. The rooms have been preserved exactly as they were in the 1970s, including the command center, reception halls, and presidential living quarters. It's both eerie and fascinating to see the Cold War-era communication equipment and strategic maps still in place. What makes the site especially significant is its role in history. On April 30th, 1975, a North Vietnamese tank crashed through the gates, effectively ending the Vietnam War. The moment is captured in a famous photo, and the tank is still on display outside today. For anyone interested in Vietnam's recent past, the palace offers a powerful and well-preserved window into it. After a pretty intensive day of walking around Ho Chi Minh City, visiting the War Remnants Museum, the Independence Palace, and a lot of other stuff, we were kind of tired, so we've decided to go to the Ho Chi Minh Night Market, which is a place where you can find all kinds of delicious street food. And then, after eating, we called it a night.
So this is the last time that we're taking this motorbike and giving it back to the rental place. So it's a little bit sad. I mean, we had a good adventure with it. No issues whatsoever, apart from a little scare with the carburetor, but that was because of the high altitude. Yeah, great bike overall. I didn't think it was going to be this sturdy or this convenient, but it was great little bike. So yeah, it's a little bit sad, but I guess everything has an end. We just gave back our motorbike to Tigit, the rental place. I'm really happy about it. Like, the service was good, it was fast. Now that I've actually had an experience with it, I can only recommend it. I mean, we've had no issues at all, which is almost surprising. No flat tires, nothing. A little scare when we're in Dalat because of the high altitude. We had some funny things going on with the carburetor, but I guess that's normal for bikes with carburetors. Yeah, and then overall, I mean, great trip. Very long, very fun. We still have one day to go. We're flying from Ho Chi Minh City to Hanoi later today, and then tomorrow we'll be flying from Hanoi back to Switzerland after a month in Vietnam.
Hoặc sử dụng thuốc lá điện tử trên tất cả các chuyến bay của Vietnam Airlines.
Okay, after a month of traveling, over 3,000 kilometers that we've driven by motorbike across the entire country from north to south, we are back in Hanoi, where everything started for this trip. It's been a truly wonderful experience. I mean, we've seen a lot of stuff here, met a lot of people, from the caves and Phong Nha to the lake in Ba Be Lake and everything in between. Saigon also was pretty nice for the last 4 or 5 days we stayed there. And yeah, we only have this night and tomorrow as the last days of this trip. Now it's a little bit sad, but I guess we're also happy to be going home. Everything needs to have an end.
On our final night in Vietnam, we couldn't resist returning to Beer Street, where we had celebrated New Year's Eve almost a month earlier. The energy was still as vibrant as ever, the street was buzzing with laughter, music, and clinking glasses. It felt like the perfect full circle moment to wrap up an incredible journey from north to south.
Today is our last day in Hanoi and the last day of our trip to Vietnam. So it's pretty sad that this has come to an end. But at the same time, we're also happy to come home. For this last day, since our flight is leaving at midnight and we have quite some time ahead of us, we're planning to go see a water puppet show that's in the center of Hanoi by the lake. And then maybe go see a museum or something like that, but definitely get some food, explore the city center one last time, and just enjoy ourselves. It's a nice day. It's warm but not too hot, so yeah. And then we have a long flight back home, so plenty of time to reflect on this awesome trip.
After getting the tickets to the water puppet show, we had some time to spare, so we grabbed a quick bite and strolled over to the small island in the middle of Ho Chi Lake. There we visited the iconic Turtle Tower, a place rich in legend. According to local lore, Emperor Le Loi was once given a magical sword by the gods to defeat the Chinese invaders. After his victory, a golden turtle surfaced from the lake to reclaim the sword and disappeared beneath the water. The tower and the lake have since become powerful symbols of Vietnam's history and spirit. Finally, it was time to enjoy the water puppet show, a unique and traditional Vietnamese art form that dates back to the 11th century. Sitting by the water stage, we watched as colorful wooden puppets danced across the surface, brought to life by skilled puppeteers hidden behind the screen. Accompanied by live folk music and playful storytelling, the performance was both charming and mesmerizing, a perfect cultural finale to our unforgettable journey.
Okay, so our adventure has come to an end. We have a little bit less than an hour before we have to leave the city. So yeah, we're going to Hanoi airport and then flying to Tokyo and then back to Switzerland. It's been a crazy month, and we've spent our last moments in Banh Mi 25, which was the little banh mi shop we stayed in at the very beginning of our trip. Now, after that actually we also discovered a tiny bar. It was like 4 seats in the Banh Mi 25 place, which was super nice, so I definitely recommend going there if you have the opportunity. Now, as I said, let's go to the airport and go home. I mean, everything has ended. This trip has finally reached its end, but you know what? A little bit sad, but at the same time, I'm also very happy about this, and I think I need a lot of time to actually reflect and digest this entire trip. But the only thing I can say is, if you have the opportunity to come to Vietnam and do a country-long motorbike trip, I would say definitely do it. Don't even hesitate, and don't be afraid to try new stuff, and don't overplan it, and don't try to see everything. That's, I think, my advice for this trip.